Sino kayo? Ay, charot. Mga kaibigan, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Andito po kami ngayon sa undisclosed location. Kasi patira kami ng mga mga kalaban, pero kasama ko po ang mga ewan ko, all white sila ngayon. May mano po ata na shooting mamaya. May mano puti sila. Kasama ko din po si Attorney Tam at saka ako. Okay. Ma'am, she's punyeta. Okay. Andito po kami ngayon dahil hinihintay po namin darating yung pagkakapal-kapal na impeachment complaint at hinihintay na rin po ng magsusponsor, mag-i-endorse noon dun sa Kongreso. So, it's just a matter of time pupunta kami doon. Okay. But before kami pupunta doon, kailangan ko munang i-explain or isiwalat sa inyo kung ano ba yung basis ng ating impeachment. So, marami kasi nagsasabi na wala daw tayong argumento. Sinasabi nila based on the United Nations speech. Yun lang daw yung basis. But of course, marami pong basis. Okay, let's start with the United Nations speech. Okay, first of all, please note that when you speak, when you invoke freedom of expression, when you invoke something na is a freedom or it's a right, you have to look at it from the perspective of to what entity you are invoking the right to. So yung freedom of expression na sinasabi nilang depensa ni LEni, pwede lang nilang i-invoke yan if it is what? A citizen towards a state. Meaning, ako bilang Pilipino, pwede kong invoke yan sa gobyerno natin. Ang kalaban mo yung gobyerno kasi po ang Bill of Rights po, it is to protect the citizen from the abuses of the state in the exercise of its inherent powers, which is the police power, power of eminent domain, and power of taxation. So, kaya po may Bill of Rights na pwede natin gamitin to protect us. So, sinasabi nila ng freedom of expression niya, nagtapos na yon nung nasa Pilipinas siya, pwede niyang sabihin yan. But when she went out of the country and spoke in an international organization, she was talking as a sovereign. Okay? So when you're talking as a sovereign, you're talking not as a citizen, but as a representative of the Philippines. And therefore, if you talk about that, you cannot just interpose your own opinions, your own biases, your own findings of facts, or even your own conclusions. Bakit? Because you have an obligation to the Filipino people to be correct. Okay. Doon pa lang sa speeches niya, sa United Nations speech pa lang niya, mayroon ng tatlong nakitang pagkakamali. Okay. The first na pagkakamali niya is yung unilateral statement niya na may 7,000 people killed by summary executions. Okay. First of all, if you are a head of state and you are a sovereign speaking for the Philippines, you have to speak about it in the perspective of official data and record. So, LEni, when she spoke about it, there was no source for the data. There was no source for the data. There was no basis for the data. And moreover, she did not quiet kayo, hindi. Paano ko ba maano to salita? Punyeta. Oo. Ang ingay ng mga bakla. Ang ingay. Ang ingay ng mga bakla. Okay.
Nasisira ang concentration.
Nawawala ang concentration ko. Kasi, rewind. Okay, so yung 7,000 kasi na yan. Okay. The first thing that she should have done as a sovereign and a head of state is to make sure that the figures are correct. Okay, that is not just her obligation, but her moral responsibility. That when she says something, it should be what? It should be correct. Why? Because there will be effects of the statement. Did she make any inquiry. Yes, there was, but there was no response yet. So ano yon? She should not have made these statements or even made these figures because it was unverified. Okay. So, to answer the question on whether or not kahit naman 2005 or 5,000, ano pagkakaiba doon? A death is a death. Yes. But they are making it appear that the death that is happening during the time of Duterte is higher, very much higher than the time of the previous administration. That is misleading and that will cause problems. Okay, so that was the first inconsistency. The second inconsistency that she did was that she mentioned the Palit-Ulo scheme. The Palit-Ulo scheme, as a lawyer, she should have known that it is Section 33 of the Dangerous Drugs Act. But iba ang concept na ginamit niya. And to make things worse, she did not verify or ask for inquiry with regard to the same before the PNP. Alam ni General Batuyan na wala siyang letter, na wala siyang inquiry. That was the second. The third lie that she said was that there are 500 cases filed by the CHR before the DOJ, and that as of this point, there were no cases filed before the court. Sabi niya, 500 cases daw of EJ case filed by the CHR, and there are no, the DOJ has not acted on it. That is not true. Because number one, based on the DOJ statement, halos hindi umabot na 50. And most of them were not filed during the period of President Duterte. Meaning that the EJ case happened before the Duterte administration. Again, another misleading statement. Okay. Why is this wrong? Because even if she is the vice president, she has an obligation to the Filipino people. She may be truthful, baka katangahan lang niya, baka kabobohan niya, but everything taken into account, it's not just recklessness, but it is eminent bad faith on her part. Okay. Of course, marami pang kaming ebidensya doon with regard to her speeches. Okay. The second ground is with regard to her statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth. First of all, we found out that LEni Robredo has Meralco shares. Okay, let's rewind back. We actually asked the office of the vice president for her latest SALN, for her expenditures, for her travel records, all the other matters pertaining to her office, but we were never given a proper answer. Meaning, there was no compliance with the freedom of information. LEni Robredo perhaps forgot that she is still part of the executive. And the first presidential order, executive order issued by the president is the Freedom of Information Act. Therefore, that by itself is what? An indicia that she is hiding something. Why? She cannot comply. So, when we looked at her past statements of assets and liabilities and net worth, we found out that there are Meralco shares. The problem is, the Meralco shares were placed in business interest with no specific amount. Okay. Learning from the only jurisprudence in the case wherein they had to impeach Chief Justice Renato Corona because of his failure to correctly state his initial and specific matters, that is by itself the thing that she violated on. So, ang ginawa nila kay Corona, gagawin namin sa kanya. Why? Because, number one, if you are a lawyer and you have Meralco shares, you know the amount of the shares. You know how much it is worth. And And remember, it is a publicly listed share, and everyone knows the amounts of publicly listed shares. She has no reason to hide it in business interests and say that it has no amount, because if that is added, it would greatly increase her net worth, and perhaps baka wala yan dun sa dati niya na nakuha lang niya recently. That is indicia of graft and corruption. The third is with regard to the management of the funds of HUDCC. She has been with HUDCC for just how many days? 150 days. 150 days. And yet, we discovered that she actually, pag-ibig, which talks about housing, which supports housing in the Philippines, which helps Filipinos obtain housing, decent housing at good cost. They sponsored an event for foreigners where LEni Robredo was the speaker. It is about the Congress, or the meeting is about empowerment. Walang relasyon po sa housing. Empowerment, walang relasyon sa housing, pero nagbigay ng pera ang pag-ibig funds natin, which is supposed to be given to the Filipinos sa isang foreign entity. Okay? Because she was invited. In fact, when she went to that conference, she was met by Michael Azucena, the head of the Pag-ibig. So technically, she was using funds intended for our people to support foreign endeavors. And for me, that is a betrayal of public trust. Okay. So, marami pa po, mga kaibigan. We will that is a general term of that is a general supposition of our impeachment complaint. Of course, ito I just summarized it to a little for you to to have an understanding of the same. But at the end of the day, we have proven, number one, that she is not just reckless, but she is irresponsible, and it is tantamount to bad faith. Second, we're able to prove that there is damage in what she has done, and that she cannot simply say that it is based on her freedom. Because number one, when she was talking as a sovereign and representing the Philippines. Okay, so yun lang po. That is so that later on, when the media will ask me questions and matters which may be slanted, baka bigyan nila ng ibang meaning or ibang twist, alam niyo po yung totoo. Okay, so we're just waiting for some people, and then we will be continuing with our the filing later on. So at this point, guys, I have to stop because we will be doing the filing now, in a while. So at least you know now what is the real thing. Later on, pagpasok namin sa Senado, sa House of Rep, magla-live din ulit ako. Okay? So magbabay na kayo, mga Tres Maria. See you later, guys. Later magla-live ako ulit. Bye-bye.